A young millionaire needs a fake girlfriend to attend a wedding. But what happens when this fake relationship starts changing? Everything. Jack Reynolds never thought a simple arrangement could stir emotions he couldn't control. Will he be able to keep everything in check, or will he get swept up in it? This story will make you rethink love, deception, and life's unexpected twists. If you're curious about what happens next, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt stories. Jack Reynolds never thought he'd need a fake girlfriend until family pressure and media scrutiny backed him into a corner. With his sister's extravagant wedding fast approaching, his mother had been relentless about his love life, and the press wasted no opportunity to dissect his personal affairs. The last thing he wanted was to give his ex another reason to drag him through the headlines. He needed someone convincing enough to keep his family at bay for the weekend, but also someone who wouldn't mistake this arrangement for something real. That's when he saw her, Emily Carter, effortlessly balancing 2 trays of champagne flutes, while brushing off a drunken businessman demanding a cocktail she didn't even serve. Her expression showed annoyance, but she maintained a cool professionalism. She was sharp, quick-witted, and clearly unimpressed by the wealth around her. Perfect. Jack adjusted his cufflinks, stepping away from the bar with his usual confidence as he approached Emily. "Excuse me," he said smoothly, positioning himself between her and the insistent businessman. "Is there a problem here?" Emily arched a brow. Her deep brown eyes filled with suspicion. "Just a customer demanding something I don't serve," she replied. Jack smirked. He already liked her. "Walk with me," he said as if it were a given. Emily hesitated, but after a brief pause she sighed, handed off her tray, and followed him to a quieter corner of the venue. "If this is about complaining, I don't have time," she stated plainly. "It's not," Jack reassured her. He leaned in slightly, lowering his voice. "I need a fake girlfriend for a wedding this weekend." Emily blinked, then laughed. "You want to hire me to pretend to be your girlfriend?" "Exactly, why me?" Jack appreciated her directness. She didn't seem like the type to be swayed by money, and she clearly had no patience for nonsense. "I need someone who won't overcomplicate this." Emily crossed her arms, sizing him up. "And what exactly would I have to do? Smile, pretend to like me, and make my family believe I'm not a complete disaster when it comes to relationships?" She tilted her head. "You must be really desperate. You have no idea." A slow smile spread across Emily's lips. "All right, Jack Reynolds. I'll be your fake date. But I have conditions." He smirked, intrigued. "I'm listening." "First, I don't do forced affection. If I have to pretend to like you, you better make it easy. No arrogance, no barking orders, and don't treat me like your employee." Jack chuckled. "Fair enough." "Second," she continued, "I don't do uncomfortable shoes. If I'm going to be on your arm all weekend, I'm picking my own outfits. A stylist can send over options, but I get the final say." Emily nodded in approval. "And third, if this turns into a mess, I walk. No questions asked." Jack studied her for a long moment. She wasn't intimidated by him, wasn't blinded by wealth. She was just a woman who knew her worth. "Deal," he said. Emily exhaled, shaking her head. "I can't believe I just agreed to this." Jack grinned. "Trust me, neither can I." But as he watched her walk away, he had the strangest feeling that this arrangement was about to become far more complicated than he had anticipated. Emily adjusted the silk dress draped over her frame, still unable to believe she was wearing something this expensive. A strange job, she reminded herself. A high-paying job, but a job nonetheless. Outside, the sleek black town car was already waiting. She took a steadying breath just as the door opened and Jack stepped out. His tailored suit fit as if it had been crafted just for him, every sharp line emphasizing the effortless confidence he carried. His gaze swept over her from head to toe, lingering just a second too long before he extended his arm. "You clean up well," he remarked, something unreadable in his voice. Emily smirked, slipping her arm through his. "You don't look so bad yourself." They stepped into the grand hall where golden chandeliers cast shimmering light across polished marble floors. Laughter and conversation hummed around them, but almost instantly heads turned not toward Jack, but toward her. A striking woman with sharp features approached the sequins of her gown, catching the light like a statement of power. "Sophia Reynolds, Jack's sister," she said with a slight smile. "Well, well," Sophia mused, lips curving slightly. "You actually brought someone." Jack sighed. "Nice to see you too, Sophia." But her gaze had already shifted to Emily, eyes assessing, searching for cracks. "And you are—" Emily didn't hesitate. She extended a hand, her smile cool and composed. "Emily Carter, pleasure to meet you." Sophia shook it, her expression unreadable. "Likewise." Before Emily could reply, another voice cut through the moment. "Jack, you didn't tell us you were bringing someone." An older woman approached Jack's mother. But unlike Sophia, she clasped Emily's hands the moment she got close, warmth radiating from her. "My dear, you're stunning," she said. "Your mother is certainly wonderful, and she's been keeping you a secret all this time." Emily smiled, unfazed. "Some men are just terrible at sharing good things." Jack shot her an amused glance, but his mother beamed. "I like her." Sophia folded her arms. "We'll see." Jack leaned in his warm breath close to Emily's ear. "Welcome to the show," he whispered. Emily smirked, scanning the crowd. "Let's see if I can tame the lions." Jack chuckled, but there was something else in his expression now. Something intrigued. Something impressed. And as the night unfolded, Emily had a distinct feeling that this job might be far more complicated than she had expected. Emily quickly realized one thing: Jack's family wasn't easy to fool. They were polite, but behind their smiles and casual conversations, she could feel their scrutiny, especially from Sophia. His sister was looking for cracks in their story, but Emily wasn't easily shaken. She engaged effortlessly with Jack's mother, answered his father's questions with confidence, and even made one of his older uncles chuckle at her wit. Everything seemed to be going smoothly until Sophia spoke up. "So how did you two meet?" Sophia asked, her tone light, but her eyes sharp. Emily didn't falter. "At a charity event." Sophia tilted her head. "Jack doesn't talk much about charity events." "He made the first move," Emily said, smiling playfully at Jack. "But I turned him down the first time." Sophia raised an eyebrow. "Really?" Jack smoothly interjected. "She couldn't resist my charm forever." Emily scoffed, shaking her head. "I made him wait before agreeing to a date." Sophia didn't look convinced, but she had no way to disprove their story at that moment. The music shifted to a softer melody. Couples began drifting toward the dance floor. Jack turned to Emily, saying nothing, simply holding out his hand. She hesitated for a second, then placed her palm in his. Jack pulled her in his hand, resting lightly on her waist as they swayed to the music. This wasn't part of the deal, but Emily realized it didn't feel like pretending anymore. "You're handling this well," Jack murmured. Emily tilted her head, eyes challenging. "Did you expect me to fail?" Jack smirked, but there was something softer in his gaze. "No, but you're surprising me." Emily took a slow breath, her heartbeat steadying. "You thought I wouldn't fit into this world." Jack studied her. "No, I thought you'd hate it." Emily exhaled, her voice quieter. "I've learned how to adapt." Jack's grip tightened slightly, and for a moment the rest of the room disappeared, But before anything more could happen, a voice interrupted. "Jack," Sophia called. "May I cut in?" Emily stepped back, but Jack didn't let go immediately. After a beat, he released her and turned to his sister. Emily retreated to the edge of the ballroom, reaching for a glass of champagne. "You don't belong here, do you?" The voice made her pause. She turned to find David Mitchell, Sophia's fiancé, studying her. She raised a brow. "What makes you say that?" David took a sip of his drink, eyes sharp. "Most women in your position try harder to impress. You don't." Emily took a slow sip, her voice steady. "Maybe I'm not like most women." David smirked. "I wonder how much you actually know about Jack." Emily didn't take the bait. "Enough to know I should avoid troublemakers." She was about to walk away when Jack appeared at her side, his voice low but firm. "Something wrong?" David shrugged. "Just chatting." But Jack wasn't fooled. His hand pressed lightly against Emily's back. "Let's go," Jack said, and Emily let him lead her away. She could handle David, but the real problem was how much Jack seemed to care, and that was dangerous. The next morning, the Reynolds mansion buzzed with last-minute wedding preparations. Staff rushed to arrange flowers, adjust lighting, and set tables for the lavish ceremony. Emily stood in front of the mirror, smoothing down the pearl-colored gown the stylist had chosen for her. She had never worn anything so luxurious before, but what unsettled her more was the way Jack had looked at her all morning. He had stayed close, a light touch on her back as they walked through the halls, a brief but deliberate brush of his fingers against hers when no one was watching. No words were exchanged, but she knew something had shifted. But this was just an arrangement, right? As Sophia Reynolds walked down the aisle in a breathtaking wedding gown, the entire garden fell into a hushed admiration. Emily wasn't looking at the bride, she was looking at Jack. And Jack was looking at her. His gaze softened, and before she could fully process it, he leaned in and whispered, "Stay with me." Her heart clenched. She had no idea how to respond. She had always believed she could separate work from emotions, but this wasn't just a job anymore. Before she could think further, applause erupted as Sophia and David sealed their vows with a kiss. The perfect wedding scene, but Emily wasn't paying attention. Jack had said stay, and the only question looping in her mind was whether she could. As the ceremony wrapped up, Emily slipped away to the bar, needing a moment to collect herself. But Sophia appeared beside her, wineglass in hand, a slow smile playing on her lips. "So, Emily," Sophia mused, swirling her drink, "you and Jack seem pretty comfortable." Emily kept her expression neutral. "I'd hope so. It'd be a shame to spend an entire weekend with him and still find him unbearable." Jack, standing nearby, chuckled, but Sophia wasn't so easily amused. "So what happens after this weekend?" Sophia asked, tilting her head. "Now that the wedding's over, what's next for you and Jack?" Emily's fingers tightened around her glass for a split second, but Jack didn't flinch. He set his drink down and met his sister's gaze head-on. "That's between us." Sophia didn't argue, but the way she watched Emily said enough. And the worst part was, she didn't even need to ask, because Emily herself didn't know the answer. The evening carried on with laughter, wine, and endless dancing, but Emily couldn't focus anymore. Jack's words still echoed in her mind. "Stay with me." She didn't know what she had been expecting, but when their eyes met from across the room, she knew one thing for sure: everything had changed. Emily slipped out onto the balcony, letting the cool night air steady her thoughts. But it wasn't long before Jack joined her. They stood in quiet stillness, the city lights reflecting in his eyes. Finally, Emily spoke. "After tonight, everything goes back to normal, right?" Jack watched her carefully, his gaze unreadable. "Is that what you really want?" Emily didn't answer right away. She had told herself this was just an arrangement, a job. But now looking into Jack's eyes, she couldn't lie to herself anymore. "Jack?" she started, but he had already stepped closer, his fingers brushing lightly along her arm. "I don't care how this started," he said, voice steady and sure. "I care about what it is now." Emily took a slow breath, feeling her heart pound. "If we do this," she murmured, "it has to be real." Jack tilted his head slightly, a slow smile forming. "It already is." Emily didn't wait any longer. She moved forward, pulling him down into a kiss. No hesitation, no pretending. Jack held her close as if he had been waiting for this moment all along. And when they finally pulled apart, his forehead rested against hers, his voice a quiet whisper. "You're not my fake girlfriend anymore." Emily smiled softly. "No, I'm not." From the moment Emily kissed Jack under the balcony lights, everything changed. No more contracts, no more pretending. Just the two of them, completely and undeniably real. In the days after the wedding, they spent more time together. There was no longer any need to keep up appearances, yet neither of them wanted to be apart. They started dating for real. Lazy mornings at a small coffee shop, late-night drives just to watch the stars. Emily discovered that Jack, for all his sharp edges and businesslike demeanor, had a softer, more thoughtful side she had never seen before. One evening he took her to a carnival he had visited as a child. "You, Jack Reynolds, billionaire businessman, actually like carnivals?" Emily teased as he eagerly picked out a candy apple. Jack shrugged, grinning. "I like simple things. It doesn't always have to be extravagant." Emily laughed, but warmth spread through her chest. Another night they walked along the beach, his fingers intertwined with hers, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. "Did you ever think you'd end up here?" Emily asked, her voice as soft as the waves. Jack was silent for a moment, before he gently squeezed her hand. "I didn't know," he admitted. "But I do know one thing: I don't want you to go anywhere." Emily stopped walking, turning to face him. There was no hesitation in his eyes, no walls between them anymore, just pure honesty. She smiled, rising on her toes to press a soft kiss to his lips. "Then I'll stay." Under the moonlight, Jack pulled her into his arms, holding her close as if he already knew he was never letting her go. Jack knew he couldn't wait any longer. His love for Emily had only grown stronger with time. From simple dates to spontaneous road trips, from quiet laughter to deep conversations about the future, he knew, without a doubt, that Emily was the one. And tonight, he was going to show her. A romantic dinner in his penthouse. Candlelight reflecting off the crisp white tablecloth, rose petals lining the floor, and a bottle of the finest wine waiting. Emily walked in, her eyes widening in surprise. "What are you up to, Jack Reynolds?" she teased, but something in his gaze made her heart race. Jack didn't answer. He just smiled, poured them both a glass of wine, and enjoyed dinner with her. Then, as the last sip of wine was taken, he stood and held out his hand. "Come with me." Emily placed her hand in his, letting him lead her to the balcony, where the city lights stretched endlessly before them. And then he dropped to one knee. Emily froze, her heart hammering so hard she could barely hear anything else. Jack opened a small velvet box, the diamond ring catching the light. But it wasn't the ring that took her breath away, it was the pure devotion in his eyes. "Emily Carter," he said softly, "will you marry me?" Her vision blurred with tears. She had never been the kind of woman who believed in fairy tales, but this moment with him felt like magic. Her lips trembled as a soft laugh escaped her. "Yes," she whispered, voice breaking. "Yes, Jack, I will." "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Jack, I will marry you." That night, between candlelight and rose petals, they made love not as a game but as two people truly in love. The following weeks were a whirlwind of wedding preparations. Jack, despite his usual composed demeanor, insisted on being involved in every little detail. "You're surprisingly invested in flower arrangements," Emily teased one afternoon. Jack smirked, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "I'm invested in you." Their wedding was nothing short of a dream. Emily walked down the aisle in a breathtaking white gown, her heart pounding with every step toward the man waiting for her. Jack stood at the altar, looking at her as if she was the only thing that mattered in the entire world. When he took her hand, his grip was warm, steady, and full of promises. "I love you," he whispered as he slid the ring onto her finger. Emily's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I love you too," she replied. Their vows were spoken, their promises sealed with a kiss, and as the crowd erupted into cheers, Emily knew this was everything she never realized she had been waiting for. A week after the wedding, Emily started feeling different. Fatigue, nausea in the mornings, and unexpected waves of emotion. Something in her heart already knew even before she took the test. When she saw the 2 pink lines, her breath caught. Pregnant. Her hands trembled as she scheduled an appointment, but nothing could have prepared her for what the doctor told her next. She wasn't just having a baby, she was having twins. Jack was in the middle of a meeting when Emily walked into his office, her expression unreadable. "What's wrong?" he asked, immediately concerned. Emily didn't say anything at first. She just took his hand, placed it over her stomach, and whispered, "You're going to be a dad, Jack." Jack went completely still. And then before she could even blink, he pulled her into his arms, lifting her off the ground and spinning her in circles, laughing breathlessly. "Emily," he murmured into her hair, his voice thick with emotion. "I love you. I love you so damn much." She smiled, wrapping her arms around his neck. "You might want to save some of that love." Jack pulled back slightly, looking at her with nothing but pure joy. "For who?" Emily took a deep breath, barely holding back her own laughter. "For our 2 baby girls." Jack's eyes widened. "2?" Emily nodded. "Twins." For the first time in his life, Jack Reynolds was speechless. And then he kissed her deep, full of love, his hand gently pressed against her stomach. "Our girls," he whispered in awe. "Our family." Emily smiled, knowing without a doubt this life, this love, this future was exactly where she was meant to be. What do you think about Jack and Emily's journey? If you were in their situation, do you believe a relationship that started as an arrangement could turn into true love? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else. See you in the next story. Thank you for supporting the channel. The stories are collected from various sources and do not represent any individual or organization. They are shared with the intention of spreading human values in life and have been rewritten with the support of AI. If there are any mistakes, kindly overlook them with understanding. Wishing you all the best in life.